Here's the thing. I fell. Not after pushing myself for hours. I fell pretty much towards the beginning. And you know what? It was the best thing that could have happened because once I knew what falling felt like, the fear absolutely disappeared. Suddenly, it wasn't about failure or avoiding that fall. It was about seeing how far I could go without holding back. What would happen to you, friend, if you didn't hold back? Before we get into day 8 of 100 Days of Say Yes experiences, be sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us for clips throughout the week. Hi, welcome to the Say Yes Experience. I'm your host, Jessica Rector. If you have been here before, welcome back, my friend. If this is your first time joining us, welcome, welcome. We're going to talk about day 8 of 100 Days of Say Yes Experiences. Today's adventure, aerial trapeze and hoop. So picture this tiny, small trapeze that I'm supposed to climb onto with my whole body, hang from, and somehow in the process, make it look graceful. I'd never done it before. My body hadn't moved like that in years. And within minutes, I was upside down, gripping for dear life, and yes, falling. But you know what? That fall was actually freeing. And I'm so glad I got it done at the beginning because it actually allowed my fear to dissipate. Poof, done, gone. After that, it wasn't about avoiding failure. It was about seeing how far I could push myself and seeing what I was actually capable of doing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Why following first is freedom, why fear loses its grip the second you stop fighting it, and how you'll always find out you're stronger than you think you are as soon as you stop holding yourself back. Quick side note, if you're a brand that actually gets this, and is about courage, bold moves, and helping people live bigger, then let's talk. We're building a movement. In addition to this amazing podcast, the right partners are going to get massive reach. So make sure you reach out to us at hello@sayyesexperience.com. That's hello@sayyesexperience.com. We'd love to connect with you. If you want to start saying yes and stop holding yourself back, get started by downloading our free Say Yes framework at sayyesexperience.com. Now, let's get into day 8. So, as I walk into the studio about to do aerial hoops in trapeze, I have no idea what to expect. But what I imagined before I even entered the doors was graceful circus performers, easy spins, fun adrenaline. I actually thought, this won't be too bad, especially because when you see people on these apparatuses, it looks pretty easy. Well, I wouldn't say easy. It just looks so graceful. I thought, I'm pretty graceful. I got balance. I can do that. And for some reason, I thought it would literally come naturally to me. I'm not sure why, because no amount of high school drill team could have prepared me for this. Yes, keep in mind, I have not been in high school drill team for, oh my goodness, 30, 35 years-ish or so. So no, not quite that long, 33 years. But why would I think that just because I was in high school drill team that I could do these apparatuses? Not anywhere the same. I see this small straight bar as I get on the mat. They have a row of the trapeze and then another row of hoops. I'm standing in front of the trapeze, small trapeze. And I wonder how my 5'9" frame will even fit on that. I look over at the hoop and it doesn't instill much confidence either. There's even less room on it because it's circular. So I can't imagine how this is going to go. I watch the instructor, who's about 7 inches shorter than I am, easily gets on and demonstrate the procedure we're going to be practicing. And I go, okay, that looks doable. I got it. Yeah, no problem. But then as I start pulling myself up on this trapeze, I sit on it and she's literally parallel. I mean, she's on the hoop, but she's parallel to it, right? And I think, was my whole body supposed to fit on this bar that is literally, no joke, no more than 2 feet? They had some longer ones, but unfortunately, I, being the tallest girl there, did not get one of those longer ones. I grab the side of the rope and hoist myself up very ungracefully. I sit on the bar and try and lean myself over. The more I lean over, so the position they're trying to get you to go in is basically where your feet are behind one rope, but the whole rest of your body are in front of the other rope, where the two ropes are, left and right, and then the bar can. So your feet are behind this way, and the rest of your body is in. And I look at that trapeze, and just my brain logically goes, never going to work. You're too tall. Have faith. I saw the instructor do it. It's got to be doable, even though, again, she was quite a bit shorter than I was. So as I'm half hanging off this trapeze, my body keeps leaning forward and forward, and she keeps going down farther, down farther, down farther, and boom, I fell. Just as I think, I'm getting in a good position, my hand totally slips off and fall on the ground. Oh, so smoothly. All I do was get up and laugh. Yeah. But now the fall's out of the way, right? I was a bit hesitant because why? I was scared I was going to fall. Now there's this big, thick mat under me, but it's the way our brains work that we think if I fall, I'm going to get hurt, even if there's a mat. So we hold ourselves back. We're hesitant. We're unsure. We're feeling anxious. And so we don't go all out. We don't go all in. Want your event to do more than just motivate? Want it to transform? Hi, I'm Jessica Rector, CEO of the Say Yes Experience, #1 best-selling author, and the keynote speaker and experience creator companies call when they're serious about change. I don't just speak, I'm known to move people. From the main stage to custom Say Yes Experience team building events, your group will crush comfort zones, ignite connection, and fuel mental wellness and peak potential, all while having the kind of fun that actually sticks. Whether it's a leadership summit, company offsite, or all hands meeting, we bring immersive, energizing experiences that unlock what's next for your people and business. So if you're ready to ditch burnout and lead your team into bold action and a Say Yes culture, book me now at jessicarector.com or email me at jessica@jessicarector.com. And hey, subscribe to the Say Yes Experience podcast right here. It's where the movement starts.
You've heard of a bucket list, things you want to do before you die, right? At the Say Yes Experience, we believe in something truly more powerful, the Say Yes bucket list, the things you want to do to truly start living. It's about feeling alive, breaking out of routine, and turning someday into right now. We've created a free Say Yes bucket list template to help you get started, so you can move to ideas to action and start saying yes to light the things that light your fire. So don't wait to truly start living, and download your free template today.
So think about the last time you fell. Maybe you were dancing with someone and you tripped over their feet. Maybe you did yoga and fell on the mat when you're trying to get into a position. Maybe you were playing lava on the couch and your kid tackled you. We all fall. And once we fall, we get it out of the way. And we think, okay, if that's the worst that can happen, me falling, I've done it, not so bad. Now I can go all in. And you've fallen many times, time and time and time again. And I want you to move forward, not allowing the fear of falling to hold you back. In fact, when you feel that hesitation come up, fall early, fall fast. So you know what it's like? And then you can truly jump in with both feet and commit because oftentimes you're not fully committing because you're scared you're going to fall, you're scared you're going to make mistakes, you're scared of failure. And so you dip your toe in and then maybe a little bit more. And then you're like, oh, that's too hard. Nope, that's not what I thought it was. Nope, I didn't get a million people liking my video. Nope, the lighting isn't perfect. Nope, I didn't sell out of my course. Whatever the case is, we just dip our toes and we don't plant a flag and go all in and commit. When you go all in, plant your flag and commit to something, doesn't mean you don't have doubt. It just means you're going in more confident. When you're just barely trying it, barely figuring it out, barely sticking your toe in, you're not going to be successful. And I tell my son Blaze this all the time. Just commit. Go all in. I don't care that you mess up. I don't care that it doesn't work out. I don't care that you make a mistake. I just want you to commit because once you commit, your brain makes up its mind to go all in, to give it your best, and to go full force. When you're not, you're being hesitant, you're being scared, and you're holding yourself back. And doing all of that will not prove anything besides you'll continue to fail, you'll continue to fall, and you'll continue to make mistakes. And it's okay if you do when you go all in because there'll be smaller falls, smaller mistakes, and therefore it'll be easier to get back up when you make them. So, in thinking back of when I was actually doing this Say Yes experience, one of the first things that came to mind was I was doing another Say Yes experience, and Blaze said something that continues to stick with me. Sometimes he just says the wisest things that never occurred to me. He goes, Mommy, you're scared of getting messy. You don't want to get dirty, and you're missing out on all the fun. If you're going through life, whether that's in relationships, whether that's through work, whether it's through a friend or parenting or a project you're working on or starting a business, whatever it is, if you're going through life scared of the messy, scared you're going to fail, scared of getting dirty, you're going to miss out on all the fun. So, my friend, roll up your sleeves and get ready to get dirty. Be prepared to get messy because that's when you're also going to have the most fun. Now, when I was on this apparatus, hesitant at first, once I fell, I wasn't scared to get messy. I wasn't scared to get dirty. And I thought, okay, if that's the worst that can happen, I've got this. That didn't hurt. Like I got the worst thing that could happen out of the way. It didn't hurt. I was fine. Now let's go all in. But moving and stretching my body in those positions felt awkward and weird at first. And I think also sometimes doing things like this that are supposed to be graceful and beautiful, and when we're not doing it, we can think, am I going to look weird or silly or goofy or awkward? And is everybody else going to? No, nobody else was even looking at me because they were too worried about themselves, not looking silly, weird, or awkward. And no one cared. Absolutely no one cared. No one cares about you as much as you think they care about you. And that's not an insult. They don't. People aren't thinking about you because they're too worried and preoccupied thinking about themselves. What's going on in their life, the challenges they're facing, the issues that are coming up, the financial struggles they're having, the job isn't going as planned, they got a new boss, or the project that they're working on that's taking too long or it's over budget. They're too busy thinking about all these other things, and they don't have time to be concerned about what you're doing or how you're doing it, or even if you're doing it at all. So the more I stretched and moved my body on these apparatuses, it was as though I kept proving to myself that I could do it. Even at 50, I could get out and I could move my body in a way that it hadn't moved like in years. And that age is only a number. You, my friend, can do anything and everything you want if you make up your mind to do it. So fall quick, fall fast, get back up, and make sure you're falling early, because once you do, for me, it's as though it loosened me up to really relax and enjoy the moment and enjoy myself in that moment. Because sometimes, especially when I'm trying something new, I can be hyper focused and a little intense. My son will say, Mommy, do you always have to be so serious? And I'm like, I am fun. I love to have fun. But sometimes I find I can be serious, especially when I'm trying to live up to some expectation that I've unknowingly put on myself. Literally, I go into something that I've never done before and expect myself to excel at doing it. That's never going to happen, right? You doing something for the first time, you're not going to excel. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have to position your body in a new and different way. But for me, it was also holding on as hard as I could. And once I was able to wrap my brain around, okay, my half of my body from my knees down needed to be behind one rope, holding on to the rope, and then putting the rest of my body, my chest up in front of the other rope, and realizing looks odd, feels weird. Why? Because I'd never done it before. So I didn't know, my body didn't know how it was supposed to feel. And so sometimes we just got to move our body, move our emotions, move our mind when we're doing new things, because we don't know how it's supposed to feel, or how not even supposed to feel according to someone else, but how it's supposed to feel for us, or how it's going to feel for us, because we've never put ourselves in that position before. Once I put my body in that position and was holding on, I kept thinking, I feel like I'm about to fall. I feel like my body is hanging so far off of this that I'm going to fall. Yes, I did fall, but that was the only time I fell. So every other time that I felt like I was going to fall, I never fell. My grip was stronger than I thought it was. And that's such a great metaphor for life. You are stronger than you think you are. You are so much stronger than you think you are. But oftentimes you have that mental game playing in your head where that self-doubt comes up, the insecurities come up, the ceilings come up. I can't get past this ceiling, the limiting beliefs, the second guessing, all of those things come up, and you start believing in them and you start buying into them as though they are true. But that grip, soon as you hold on and you hold on tight, you'll prove that you're strong, that you can get through it, even when you don't realize it, especially in those times that you don't realize it. So there was this big mat underneath me. And so I was holding on tight because I didn't want to fall again, even though it didn't hurt. But what happens is our brains are interesting. They say, I would rather hold on tight and move away from pain, or even the possibility of pain, than move towards something that's desirable. So oftentimes when you get in situations where you feel like it's going to be pain, safety, injury, emotional pain, you'll do something to move away from that than you will do to move towards something that you love, something that you want to do. Meaning that you will make a decision to keep yourself from being broke more so than move to a dream job. So for instance, you will stay in a horrible job that you don't like if it pays enough that you're not broke. You will stay in that more so than you will move to another job that could be your dream job, because You're not broke. You're not in too much pain. But yet, when that pain reaches a certain level, that's when you'll leave. It's like you have this invisible line. Once that pain reaches over that level, you will do something to move away from that pain. So if that job starts becoming unbearable, it will get to a point that you go, now I've got to leave because my boss is horrible and the pay isn't making up for it. And I've got to endure this toxic work environment every single day. That pain keeps going on and on and on. So you will move away from that pain. That doesn't mean you're going to go then find your dream job. It just means you're going to take yourself out of that pain because it is hurting you that much. Then you will go and say, I want to have this dream job. I want to start my own business. I want freedom. Those are not strong enough until the pain becomes unbearable. So think about that in your own life. What is delivering pain for you and what do you desire? And how much pain needs to increase before you move away from it? And hopefully when you move away from it, you're moving towards something that you really, 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 really desire. And life requires you to trust. That grip that I was holding on to so tightly, I was trusting myself because I kept having to move away from that rope to get into the position. I was having to trust my grip. You have to learn to trust yourself. And life requires you to trust yourself, whether that's in physical ways, relationships, conversations, at work, and friendships. You've got to trust your instinct, trust your voice, trust your skills, trust that you know what is best for you, trust that you got it, that you can work through it, that pain is not worth it, that you want to move towards the things you love and the things that you desire. Because it's more than just trusting your grip. It's about trusting yourself.
The Say Yes experience is the movement that helps you adapt to change, enhance mental wellness, and stretch into what's possible. We tailor every experience to your specific challenges and goals, whether that's preventing burnout, building resilience, or creating a culture of bold action and connection. Whether it's a getaway with your friends or creating something for small teams to an entire organization, this is where transformation begins. Say yes to growth. Say yes to a custom experience designed just for you. Let's build and develop your own Say Yes experience at jessicarector.com.
This episode is sponsored by
Wish you could hit pause, catch your breath, and leave the rat race behind for a while? You can. Come check out Breakspace, a global community where mid-career professionals just like you are creating life-changing breaks every day. Founded by two leading break experts, this one-of-a-kind resource is your go-to for all things career break. With hands-on coaching, dynamic courses, and genuine connection, you don't have to go at it alone. Visit gobreakspace.com to learn more and join today.
Think about a time in your life when you had those bells going off to trust your instinct and you didn't. What happened? I was just having a conversation recently with a friend about an instance when I was dating someone, and he was showing all these different signs that he could not be trusted. In fact, my friend that I was talking to about it, she was telling me at the time that I was dating this person that he was gaslighting me. I had to look that up. I didn't even know what it was. And I was like, well, no. And I kept explaining it away. But it could be this. It could be this. You know, one of the things for me, never being married, is I hear these voices from everybody over the course of decades. You're too picky. Why do you need all that? You just need to, quote unquote, settle. They use different words, but settle. And I'm not willing to settle. And so, you know, when you're in that situation, you start hearing other people's voices and you start believing them over your own voice. And so I had these instincts going on that said, okay, that behavior is not good. He literally was yelling at me in Topgolf because I had asked the lady if we could get the third floor instead of the second floor, and how long would we have to wait if we wanted to wait. And then he yelled at me about a pizza because we got a pizza that we did not order. We ordered a Supreme, and the pizza came with sausage and pepperoni only. So before I could even say something to the server, he stood up and at the top of his lungs was yelling at me. And I was humiliated and I was embarrassed and I was crying. And I did not trust my instinct in all the situations of how he was showing up in his behavior. I kept talking it away and making excuses until the pizza incident happened. And I was like, no, no, no. I don't know who you think you are, but you are not talking to me that way. And that was the end. But all along the way, I kept talking away my instincts. I thought, okay, Jessica, maybe you are being too particular. Maybe you can deal with that. Maybe that's something you can compromise on. Maybe, all this. And now I know that I will not settle. Now I know I am particular and it's for a reason, not picky, particular for a reason. Because I also know I'm not looking for any guy. I'm looking for a very particular type of man, right? That doesn't mean I'm picky. It just means I could go down a whole rabbit hole on that. But we can do a whole nother episode just on dating and that kind of thing. But all of that to say that I was not trusting my instinct along the path. And thankfully, he showed his true colors bright and clear and in my face so I could no longer ignore my instinct. And yes, hindsight's 2020. He was absolutely gaslighting me. But in the process, when you go through things like that, you learn more and more to trust yourself, to continually trust yourself. When you trust your instincts don't steer you wrong. There's a reason why my instinct was going off inside saying, this isn't right. Why is he doing this? He's showing up 2 hours late. You don't want someone who behaves that way. All these things. So when your instinct is going off, my friend, trust your instinct. And be mindful that when you fall, when you make mistakes, it isn't failure. It shows you that you're stronger than you think you are, that you can do more than you believe. And in the process of me on these apparatuses, the big surprise for me was that I was hanging on longer than I expected, especially when most of my body was hanging off of it. I was able to maneuver my body in ways that I'd never tried before. So your strength shows up in the doing, not in the waiting. You're not going to just sit here and wait and all of a sudden you're going to become stronger than you think you are. The way that you're going to keep improving your strength, just like the way you increase your confidence, is by actually going out there and doing and taking action. So think about this for yourself. What's one area of your life where you're stronger than you give yourself credit for? And if you're going, Jessica, I don't know where that is, now is the time for you to start doing. Now is the time for you to start figuring out where that is. Because when I first arrived at this studio for these apparatuses, I had all this mental chatter going on. Fear of embarrassment, the self-doubt, the second guessing, what are people going to say or think about me? All of these things going on in my head. But once I realized no one's paying attention to me, they're doing their own thing, you can move past it and focus on you. Just like I could move past it and focus on me and not be concerned about what are other people saying, what are they doing, what are they thinking, and getting out of my own head and focusing on me being present, me being active, me being engaged in what was going on around me at that time. Because the more present I was in the moment, the more I could focus, the more I could concentrate, the more I could get it right, the more I could keep from falling, and the more fun I was actually having. The only person and the only thing that is limiting you is you. You are capable of so much more than you think right now, even if you know, yes, I can do aerial trapeze or hoop, or yes, I can go and run a 5K, or yes, I can start a business, or yes, I'm an awesome parent. You are still so much more than that.
Hey, I'm Blaze, and the CS experience was my idea. I created it to help my mom, Jessica Rector. When she was traveling and keynote speaking a lot and on the verge of burnout, I wanted her to say yes to herself, to joy, and to what's possible. What started out with me helping her find a new ice cream around town had turned into a movement. So together we wrote this book, The Say Yes Experience, with 52 powerful tips to help you prevent burnout, strengthen your mental health, and live intentionally. Step outside your comfort zone. One tip, one small shift, one big impact. Ready to say yes to a better you? Grab the Say Yes Experience at justcorrector.com/store.
Burnout isn't just exhaustion, it's a warning sign that something needs to change. 90% of the workforce has been in burnout in the last year alone, according to Gallup, and it's not going away anytime soon. It's even impacting the home life, but it doesn't have to be that way. In my powerful book, Blaze Your Brain to Extinguish Burnout, 52 Keys to Prevent, Breakthrough, and Beat Burnout, I show you how to take back control, reignite your energy, and transform overwhelm into opportunity. Backed by research and real-life strategies, this isn't just another self-help book. It's your guide to lasting change, mental wellness, and saying yes to the life you deserve. Ready to break the burnout cycle? Grab Blaze Your Brain to Extinguish Burnout today at justcorrector.com/store. If you want to get a copy for your team or all your employees, reach out to me directly for rates at jessica@justcorrector.com.
So as we're sitting there finishing our studio time, we're cleaning off our mats, cleaning up the place. And I was thinking about how I came into the studio hesitant, unsure, no expectations, had no idea what was coming at me versus how I was about to leave. Now, the only time I'd ever thought about hoops or trapeze is when I was watching Cirque du Soleil and how they make it look so incredibly easy, graceful, and beautiful. I had no idea how much complexity is actually involved in doing it. But when I was walking to my car, I had this big smile on my face and I literally could not stop smiling because the trapeze, although I conquered the positions and the tasks that were put at me, I had so much more fun on the hoop. It was circular. It seemed easier for me to get in and out of and to navigate. My body liked it just a little bit more, I think. I was on an adrenaline high and I was like, yes, I conquered that hoop. I got that hoop. Yes. And I was giving myself a high five saying, you rock, girl, you rock, because I did it. And I did it pretty gosh darn well, besides the falling part at the beginning. But after that, I did it very, very well. And most importantly, I had such a blast doing it. So, my friend, stop holding yourself back. Step up, grip, and swing. So, whatever that swing looks like for you, maybe you've always wanted to try an aerial hoop. Go and do it. Maybe it's playing baseball after 20 years. Do it. Maybe it's building a business or pursuing your dream job. Go out and do it because your grip and yourself is so much stronger than you think and so much stronger than you believe right now. So be prepared to fall because, my friend, you will. It's just part of it. But you'll also get back on and you'll keep swinging over and over again, and you'll swing farther and higher than you ever expect or ever imagine. So what is one physical or playful thing that you'll do this week to make yourself feel and believe and know that you're stronger? Here's what I want you to take away from today. Once you've fallen, the fear loses its power. The real danger isn't in falling, it's in holding yourself back. Because, my friend, you're stronger, braver, and more capable than you give yourself credit for. So this week, I dare you. I double dog dare you to say yes to something that challenges your body, your comfort, your assumptions. Don't wait until you're ready. Just go. And if you want to help doing that, make sure you grab my free Say Yes framework at sayyesexperience.com. It's the exact tool I use to turn amazing ideas into action and forward momentum. Be sure to share this episode with someone who you think could use some help in falling faster and getting out of their own way. Now, before we wrap up, if you love what we're building here and you want to be a part of it, our podcast is open for sponsors. So if your brand is all about courage, possibility, living bigger, bolder, and really just truly living, let's talk. Reach out directly at hello@sayyesexperience.com. That's hello@sayyesexperience.com. We'd love to hear from you because it's not just a podcast, it's a movement. And together, we're going to help millions of people live more. I'll see you on the next episode. Until then, keep believing in yourself. You know, I believe in you. Say yes, live more.